I wasn't born into comfort. No safety net, no rich parents, no shortcuts. I grew up in a small, quiet neighborhood where dreams felt expensive and survival felt normal. Money was always the loudest problem in the room, even when no one talked about it. As a kid, I learned early what not enough felt like. Not enough food in the fridge, not enough money for school trips, not enough confidence to dream out loud. I remember watching other kids talk about vacations, new shoes, new phones, and I would just smile and nod. Inside, I felt small, not because I was weak, but because I didn't know how someone like me could ever win. When you grow up poor, survival becomes your personality. You don't think long term, you think about today, about rent, about bills, about making it through another week. I worked wherever I could. Long hours, low pay, no respect. People told me, be grateful, at least you have a job. And I was. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. Because working hard wasn't changing anything. I was tired all the time, but my life stayed the same. That's when a dangerous thought started creeping in. Maybe this is all my life will ever be. My breaking point didn't come with drama. No yelling, no tears in public, no big fight. It came quietly. One night, after paying bills, I looked at my bank balance. Almost zero. Again. I sat there in silence and realized something terrifying. I was doing everything I was told to do, and it still wasn't enough. That night, I didn't promise myself success. I didn't promise money. I only promised one thing. I won't quit on myself. Here's the truth no one likes to say. No one was coming to save me. Not the government, not my boss, not my friends. Everyone was busy surviving their own lives, and that realization changed everything. Because when you stop waiting for help, you start taking responsibility. I began asking better questions. Why do some people escape poverty while others don't? Why does working harder not always mean earning more? What do successful people do differently, mentally, not magically, mentally? The first thing that changed wasn't my income, it was my thinking. I realized I had been trained to think small. I avoided risk. I feared failure. I believed stability was safety, but stability was slowly killing my potential. So I started learning, not from expensive courses, but from books, podcasts, interviews, free resources. I studied people who started with nothing. One thing stood out. They didn't chase money first. They chased skills. I started waking up earlier, not to hustle for motivation videos, but to learn something useful. Skills that could solve problems. Skills people would pay for. At first, progress was invisible. No applause, no encouragement, no results. Just effort. There were days I wanted to quit, days I felt stupid, days I thought, who am I kidding? But I kept going, because quitting would take me back to the same life I was trying to escape. My life didn't change overnight, and that's important. There was no viral moment, no instant success, just small wins, a slightly better opportunity, a little more confidence, a little less fear. And for the first time, my income didn't come only from hours worked. It came from value created. That's when I understood something powerful. Rich people don't get paid for time. They get paid for results. As I changed, something uncomfortable happened. I outgrew old habits. Old conversations felt empty. Old excuses felt heavy. Some people didn't understand me anymore. They thought I was changing. They were right. Growth is lonely sometimes, but staying poor is lonelier. Not everything worked. Some ideas failed, some plans collapsed. I lost time, I lost money, but I didn't lose direction. Because failure stopped being proof that I wasn't good enough. It became feedback, and every lesson made me sharper. One day, I checked my bank account, not because I was worried, but out of habit. And for the first time, I wasn't scared. Bills were paid, savings existed, options were real. I didn't feel rich, I felt free. Free from constant fear,
free from survival mode. That's when I knew I wasn't poor anymore. Not just financially, but mentally. If you're watching this and struggling, if you feel behind, if you feel invisible, let me tell you this clearly. You don't need luck. You don't need permission. You don't need to be special. You need patience, consistency, and the courage to not quit quietly. Because life doesn't change loudly, it changes slowly. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't give up. And that made all the difference. I was poor, I was tired, but I didn't quit. And that's how my life slowly changed.